Welcome back. When it comes to buying a new home, the top concern on everyone's mind, budget. The first step in knowing how much you should spend is to get pre-approved. Joining us now are Frank Hannon from Amanda Miller Realty and Andrew Hunt Jr., the president of Performance Mortgage. They're here to talk about why this is so important and how potential homeowners need to get started. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Oh my God, that was in sync. Wait a minute. How cool. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us this morning, and thank you for coming to talk about this topic because it is a very important one. But for people like me, we don't own a home, but us looking to find a home, we need to get pre-approved. I don't know what that means. Andrew, can you tell us what that means?
Well, there's differences between pre-approval and pre-qualification. In most cases, what'll happen is a lender, you'll call a lender or a loan officer, there's a lot of great ones out there, by the way, and they will take a little short application, and based on what you tell them, they'll say, you know what, you're pre-qualified up to this certain amount. Now, in my opinion, I'm gonna be honest, in a lot of cases, a pre-qualification has a lot of holes in it that can get you into trouble. So what you really wanna do is you wanna get pre-approved, and this is why. Pre-approved means that you have gotten your credit has been pulled, you've gotten supporting income documentation, whether it be taxes, W-2s, all this stuff, bank statements to see what kind of assets you have, and it's packaged up and sent to an underwriter that's actually going to pre-approve you, not a loan officer saying, oh man, it looks good. Go spend, 30 days looking for a house and without us doing our due diligence. So it's really important to get a pre-approval versus a pre-qualification. Also, on the listing, on the realtor side, Frankie can tell you why.
Well, most importantly, we want to make sure that you and the decisions you're going to make to buy this house, which arguably is probably going to be the most or one of the most important transactions in your life.
That's right. I agree.
So we want to make sure that you're comfortable with it and it fits within your budget and your family's lifestyle. So it's super important to know that and for your agent to know what parameters they have to work with.
Now, of course, a big thing with the pre-approval process is the credit score. You know, the minimum credit score needs to be 640, all that stuff. For people who don't have that 640 credit score, can they still apply?
At Amanda Miller Realty, and myself included, I really like for people to just come in and let's get that dialogue started. Give us a call, sit down, we'll get you with one of our great buyer agents, because more importantly, this whole process is about building relationships. So we want to get to know you and your family's needs and your plan beforehand. So for instance, I think it was maybe a year ago, Andy and I had a client that was sub 640, and I wanted to start building that relationship with them because guess what? They weren't that far off. And when we got them over to Andy to have him just actually pull some information from them, it didn't take much work. They thought that they were a year, 2 years out from actually buying a house. We got them with him, we set them with a game plan. That was the most important thing to do, is set a plan, stick to it. And I think it was, 3 months later, we actually closed on a deal and they found their home.
Oh, right. So helping the people from start to finish. I really appreciate that because a lot of people need that, especially if it's their first time. Now, speaking of first-time buyers, are there any different loan programs for first-time buyers and just buyers in general that we can look at?
Oh, there's quite a few. Now, let me tell you, if you're kind of on the fence of whether you should be buying a home or not, look, you need to reach out and see exactly what you can qualify for, because now is one of the best times historically to purchase a home. Let's just rewind. That's right. Let's just rewind it to December of last year.
Right.
For government loans, which we'll get into that, is a lot of what first-time home buyers are looking at, whether it be a VA loan if you're a veteran, thank you for your service, USDA 100% financing, FHA, minimum down payment of 3.5%. Back in December of last year, those rates were in anywhere from the mid to high 4s, and depending on credit, could have been all the way in the 5s. Okay, so what happens is when interest rates are higher, it affects the price of home that you can buy that might fit your budget or just what you can get qualified from a bank as it is.
Right.
So now that the rates have historically dropped again, which unfortunately looks like they're on their way up, you're going to be able, let's hope not, let's speak it into existence, let's hope not, trust me, I hope they stay low, but it looks like they're kind of ticking up a little bit, so time in most cases is the essence. You're able to buy more home than you were late last year.
And I know for a lot of people, when looking at buying a home, pulling your credit is a thing that a lot of people use. What does that mean? Does that affect our credit in a good way, a bad way, or not at all?
Malik, that's a great question. It all depends on what lender you're working with. I know, being president of Performance Mortgage, the way that I have our people's setup is, you know, most of the time people are worried about the increase and exactly what it's going to do for their credit report.
Right.
So what we've instilled as a company is initially we always do a soft pull. Okay, so if you're that client that might need a little bit more help and you're not really sure about what your credit is or whatnot, or you have really good credit and you're just shopping, you want to just see what, you know, who will give you the best deal and the best service, then what we do is we do a soft pull, which is just based on Experian. It gives us an actual score, and it doesn't affect your credit initially. Now, eventually going forward, you will have to have a tri-merge credit, and it will, in some cases, you're allowed so many per year, but in some cases it will affect your score a little bit, but nothing drastic.
Nothing drastic.
Nothing drastic.
Now I have one more question for you, gentlemen. Okay, so say I got pre-approved, woohoo, I made it, but I'm still not sure. How long does this pre-approval last? Do I have a certain time limit until I have to go and apply again?
As long as nothing major with your scenario changes, such as income, that's the main thing. Maybe your down payment, depending on the program that you're doing. As long as nothing changes, you're normally pretty good. Now, a credit report, typically for most lenders, will be okay for 120 days. So as long as you have looked at a house and actually purchased that home within 120 days of you first getting your actual hard pull credit, then you're going to be okay. Along the process, because listen, sometimes it takes a little bit to find that perfect house for your family, right?
Of course.
So,
we live in there forever.
You got it. You got it. So if that's the case, the worst thing that can happen, as long as you don't go buy new cars or just totally change your credit profile, right? You definitely don't want to do that, guys. If you're pre-approved, just try not to get.
I hear that.
You know,
well,
then,
look, you all have so much to offer, and thank you all so much for joining us. We are out of time already. I'm over here like, what? Taking notes and taking notes. I really appreciate you all coming.
We'll take care of the rest.
And yes, call them. They will take care of the rest. For more help with the home buying process, you can log on to AmandaMillerRealty.com or call them at 504-302-4610. Don't forget, they have 3 locations in Chalmette, Slidell, and Harvey.